Well, hello and welcome back. Thanks for coming back. Where are we? This is the Limassol roundabouts, yes. And we're going to head into the town centre, but we're not going to go to the town centre down to the left. We're going to go straight. And we're going to do a bit of a wiggle and a little bit of a waggle as Mr. Paul goes on a hunt for some parts at the Honda dealership, which, well, it's actually now on the new road, isn't it? If you remember, it used to be called Hell, and they put a roundabout at the bottom and all those kind of things. So that's where we're going. The road that links, shall we say, the old town up to the Masoi Avenue. And Masoi Avenue, well, that's the road, which is a nice big straight one that goes uphill if you're heading out towards Tala and, of course, Tremathusa, and that's where all the car dealers are. If you want to buy a Bentley or a Porsche or a Lamborghini, that's where you might want to go, or perhaps to get a fridge or two. Gridlock traffic in downtown Paphos. If your name is Dizzy Blonde, well, what do you think of it? Absolute gridlock. Should we let this little Gumbaro out? I think we will. He probably wouldn't let us out, but never mind, we'll let him out. He's tootling along, he's got his mobile phone between his legs. Well, we think that's what he's looking at, but we're not quite sure, are we? He's also got a frappe and a cigarette on the go as well. But hey, welcome to Cyprus. What am I doing? Well, I've got one hand on the steering wheel, one hand on my knee. Yes, on my knee. And, well, I'm pondering, shall we go left or shall we go straight? I think we'll go left, because I don't think I've taken you down this road before. And this is quite a busy road indeed, especially with locals, because there's an awful lot of shops on it and little specialist shops that do this and they do that. The gadget shop is on this street. What's the gadget shop do? Well, it sells all sorts of gadgets, as its name may suggest. But I go there because he's very good with mobile phones, and he sells all sorts of bits and bobs and cables and cases. And if you've bought yourself a new mobile phone, he can transfer all the pictures and all that kind of stuff. And of course, if you've stolen someone's mobile phone, don't worry, just turns a blind eye and he unlocks it on his computer for you. And then of course, then you can use that person's mobile phone. Only joking, but he can, if you understand me. If you've locked your phone or something's wrong with your phone, you bring it to my friend Omar just down here, and I promise you, he'll find a way to get his little mitts into that phone and get all your information out and get it onto your new phone or onto a memory stick or that kind of thing. This road has had quite a bit of big diggering, by the way, and there's still quite a bit going on. They're putting bollards up to try and stop people from parking on the pavements and that kind of thing. Because in Cyprus, you know, pavements, well, we think of them in most European countries as for walking on, but in Cyprus it's too hot, so you don't walk on pavements, you park on pavements. And now the mayor, Mr. Vadonis, he's a good man, by the way, he's come up with this idea of putting these metal posts up to stop us from parking on the pavements. Very inconsiderate indeed. Because if you want a coffee like there, I often go there to the coffee lab to get a coffee, but now you can't park. So of course, I don't go there anymore. It's as simple as that. I really have adopted Cypriot culture, and well, through and through, I think I may have been born a Cypriot. I think I may have been, because we really don't like to walk at all. We like to get as close as possible to the shop entrance or the coffee shop entrance, go for the dismounts, walk in, give a bit of a grunt, and then chuck him a couple of euros and then get a coffee. We'll let this chappie cross because he was using his indicator. Very unusual. Perhaps it was on by mistake for the last week or so. Let's keep going. We're heading into downtown Paphos, into the centre, into the heart of the metropolis of Paphos. And you may have noticed the sky got a little bit of greyness in it, shall we say. There's a little bit of dust still around, but overall it's very blue indeed. When I looked out of the window this morning at 6:30, I promise you that the view we've got is spectacular, straight down through upper, mid-town and lower town Paphos, and straight out into the abyss of the blue Mediterranean Sea. And that sea was very blue indeed. On top of that, Mr. Paul, guess what? He's dressed head to toe in blue as usual. So all it's actually missing is you. Why not get yourself on a big bird or a canoe and start paddling like crazy? Because Paphos, Cyprus, Mr. Paul, Ms. Ochi, Rasidial booth, we're all waiting, especially for you. Now, big shout out to some of the superstars on the show. Phil and Sharon, thanks very, very much for the super thanks contribution. We often forget about that one. If you want to help us out, keep us afloat, where you hit the like or the dislike, if you wish, you can scroll across and there's download and all these other little bits and bobs that you can do on YouTube, and there's a little button that says super thanks, well, it says thanks with a $sign on it. If you hit on that, you can make a small contribution, anything from £1 up to £1 million, I think, if you wish, if you're feeling very, very generous. Because remember, well, the superstar all the way in Poland, she wants me to buy a black Rolls-Royce Phantom with blue interior so that I can chauffeur her around Paphos when she comes here next year. So we're going to need a couple of bob, so why not click through on that little button and make a contribution to the channel. The other and most common mentioned little way of funding this, shall we say, is to go through to the Buy Me a Coffee platform, where you could choose to buy Soch and Graceva Booth, that's Marika, and me a coffee or two. And if you want a special video made for you, if you want to storm a hotel with your name on it, well, very, very simple, 3 or 4 coffees and that video will be coming especially for you. But this is this roundabout, and it's confusing the life out of people, because roundabouts and traffic lights in Cyprus, nobody really understands what they're for, because nobody wants to stop, because we're always in this great big rush and a hurry. Now, the Honda dealer is coming up on the left hand side there, as you can see, but we're going to keep on going and show you some of the landmarks and some of the bits and bobs along the way. This road, by the way, is a vast improvement. Perhaps if you came here, what is it now, about 18 months this road's been going on, by the way, it is. And now it's almost finished, as you can see. This part is technically finished up here. I think there's perhaps a bit of tidying up to do, and hopefully the businesses that closed down, because of course you couldn't get to them, hopefully some of them are going to reopen, and hopefully new businesses are going to come and take their places as well, because this is the heart of downtown Paphos. This is where it's at. I understand that most people come into Paphos, most people watching the channel perhaps come here for a week or 2 weeks, but perhaps you may want to come here for the rest of your life. And there are a few people who watch, I understand that. We've got Tommy the superstar, the porn star up in Payer, his partner in crime, Miss Rebecca, and well, now and again they need to recover a sofa because they've been up to well, some monkey business, shall we say. What's going on? Red traffic lights, oh my goodness. This is the first time I've had to stop at these traffic lights, because I think they've only just switched them on, and I'm not going to stop again, I've decided, because I'm getting sick and tired of all these red lights. I'm not stopping anymore. So if your name is Mr. Neil and you like a chicken pie, make sure Ali can slap you on the back, because next time I won't be stopping, and I don't want you to choke on that chicken pie. Oh, and don't forget, we'll be whizzing up to Payer again very, very soon indeed. Lots of people love Payer, we know that, and lots of people love Coral Bay. Of course, if your name is James Henry, if your name is David Potter, of course, if your name is Miss Ali and you've got a partner in crime called Mr. Neil, of course we've mentioned the porn star Mr. Tommy, and of course his partner Miss Rebecca. They actually live there, and lots of people do, don't they? There's around about 4,000 foreign nationals that live officially in Payer, so I bet there's 1 or 2 more as well. Population of about 8,000, so that's a massive, massive proportion of the population. And of course there's quite a few areas of Paphos which have massive expat populations. Tremathusa up the road here, that's another one. Tala, that's another one. And I know a superstar who lives in Tala, and his name is Sir Phil. Yes, and he's got a partner in crime, and of course her name is Lady Sita, and they got a son, so therefore he must be in line for a sirdom very, very soon indeed as well. And if you watch again, perhaps trying to get the views up, yesterday's little video outside the Sports Direct, as I'm coming down about 2 minutes into the video, there is a man standing in the car park waiting for Sports Direct to open, and if you look very carefully you'll watch him turn his head, because he understood that the black S-Class coming down the road was Mr. Paul. Got the great honour and the great pleasure to meet Mr. Phil about a month back now, I suppose, or 6 weeks. Time goes, doesn't it? I'm getting old as well. But a while back, he accosted me outside the Atlas coffee shop, which is at the top of the road here as you turn off for Tala and Tremor-Thusor, if you're going to the monastery, for example. And he bumped into me. I didn't have a hat on, I think I had sunglasses on, and he recognised the car, and he understood that I often go to the Atlas coffee shop. So one of these days, I am sure that our paths will cross again. And as I say, Mr. Phil, you're now a sir, so that must mean that the coffees and the Coca-Colas and anything else that I can think of is on you. In fact, I do quite fancy a new house up in Kamara's village, and I understand that you've got one. So maybe you may have to vacate it especially for me. Your wife's now punching you, and your son's now punching you, you see. These knighthoods and these lordhoods, well, they come with strings attached, shall we say. Now, I don't know to upset people, but the sun seems to have, well, buggered off for a bit. Perhaps we're going the wrong way, aren't we? We're going uphill. Perhaps we should turn around and go the other way, and then, well, you would understand. Let's join this traffic, and let's give the old girl a bit of a boot, because nobody ever wants to let you in, if you understand me. So you have to force your way in and around downtown Paphos. I understand, you know, many places in the world, there's not much courtesy on the road anymore, is there? It's something that's been lost as time has gone on. Everyone is so busy doing this, and they've got to get to IKEA, and, you know, you've got to get to Sports Direct, haven't you, Phil? You have. Perhaps you should get a new pair of blue sport shoes or something like that. Although Mr. Phil likes a bit of black, so he wears a black hat, a black t-shirt, black shorts, probably black sport shoes, and he's got a black balaclava as well. So he's often on foot, so if you see him around at the night time, well, be careful. He's a bit of a ninja, I think. That's making fun of Mr. Phil. Sir Phil. He is a sir now, remember. Now, big shout out to some of the superstars on the show. The girl in charge of the show, of course, her name is Dame Anne. She's an absolute megastar living in downtown Hartlepool. She's back home, but of course, she's coming back not that long to go, probably about 90 days or so, is it, Dame Anne? Somewhere around there. And of course, Dame Anne, we are waiting for you to give us a reply, because there's a superstar all the way. She's probably back in Australia today, I think, and hopefully she's watching tonight, and hopefully Neophysis has forgiven me for having him to get out of bed at 3 o'clock in the morning. It's the time difference, isn't it, you see, in Australia, to watch us. And we're coming up with a title for a Dame Anne, and we want you to give us that title. What is it going to be? Could it be the Queen of Australia, the Helen, the Australian Queen, the Princess? I don't know. Come up with that special title, and we will present it to Miss Helen, and hopefully that will, well, bring a smile to her face or two, because we understand that she is a superstar and quite a big fan of the little channel known as Marika and me. I'm going to say thanks for watching, and of course, if you do like what you see, why not hit the like, click subscribe, perhaps come back for a little bit more of a madness. Again, Mr. Phil, Miss Sharon, thank you very much. We call it madness, fun and games, that kind of thing, and you call it informational, and we thank you very much for that, and of course the contribution, as I was saying at the start of this little episode. This is the road that joins you onto the road that takes you back down towards the old town, back down towards Clorica, or if you go to the right, you would go up to main town Tala. So if you come back a little bit later, guess what? The odds are very high that we'll be somewhere in the vicinity of Tala, hunting down the man known as Sir Phil. Thanks for watching, and of course we will see you again very soon indeed. This is a new supermarket, by the way. This is the Mass supermarket. It's quite good. Come here quite often, but not at these times of day. Rush hour, 12:30, everyone's going home for lunch, and that's where I'm going. So, au revoir, das Vidania.